That's right. Recording is in progress. No attendees. Oh, we got one. Hey, we got Christine. Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. I am not Jeremy. Jeremy's out today, but don't worry. You'll be taken care of by the rest of the Decisions training team and staff. I'll be the primary host today, Jared. So if you have any questions, feel free to populate them in the Q&A or in the chat. I will be focusing on those areas of Zoom, and I'll be able to answer any questions you may have. We got a nice full house today. I love it. So populate some, and we'll go ahead and get to it. All right, we got a pre-sub. So as you guys think of your questions, we're going to currently go ahead and talk about this pre-sub that we have. So this pre-sub is from Marvin. Marvin, I'm going to allow you to talk, but I'll first read through your question. Question is, currently we are creating all our database connections in a common project with any queries needed. Is it possible to leave the connections in the common project and store the queries themselves in their relevant projects and not in the common project? I spoke with Gregory yesterday and he thought it was plausible. Just curious how that might be done. And as any follow-up questions, let's do that one. So could you do that? Yes, you can.
All right, first question, can you include James on this conversation as well?
Can I do what?
Include James on the conversation?
Sure, sure.
As well,
Oh,
because
yeah.
actually.
Sorry,
Sure.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah,
Okay,
So
cool.
let me just answer the first part of this question. So the answer to this one is yes. I don't know why my server's taking so long. Let me remove some tabs that I have. Yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna delete all this, free up some space. There we go. That's all it was. Too many browsers. Yeah, you could. So if I have a central project that has the connection string and I want to utilize that connection there, you can go ahead and set that. And then on your project itself, so what you would do is you can create a database integration, and then you can click database integration, and then there is a add, I think, a query, and you can then select that connection from there. So you can definitely say I'll have the main kind of commonality project, have that main kind of connection integration, share that, and then go ahead and add that to your you know subset projects that just have the query integration connected. So
I think the question was more along how do they share that to that project?
so that's the first part. So I'm going to read the second part. Is that where we're going? And then as a follow-up, query results carry the connection and query names as the object name. If the connection type ever changes in the future, it seems like that would cause an issue. Is there a way to better manage? Is there a way to better manage the resulting query data? I think Gregory, this is the one that you said you did some work on.
A little. I was doing.
First question.
Say what? Say what? What?
Gregory talked about the first question.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm not still sure I understand the answer, but that's okay too.
I mean, I could easily demonstrate it. It's not going to take too long. So let's say I create my own kind of integration, right? We'll go through integrations, connections. I'm just going to create a new one. I want to create a connection. I'm going to create a connection, and I apologize for the noise. We have a big lunch thing happening here in the office. So if you hear people on my mic, it's just that. So let's say this is my new connection, right? I'm going to say this is my new connection. My server, it's a SQL Express, and it will say this is localhost, and then the database. I'll say this is, let's see, what are the databases that I have? I'm not sure what I got. Go ahead and do this. And I have alrighty, I know. I love it, guys. We got lots of questions today. So this is gonna be great. All right, cool. So I got some databases. Let's see what I got. I have this school. All right, I have this school database. So I'm gonna integrate with this school database. We'll do this. We'll test it. Cool, I got it. And then cool. So this is this one, right? And so we have this local connection here that I've created. Now that I've created that, I'm going to create another one, call it common integration. And we'll do BPM This is testing the common project. Create. So we're going to create this, go to common integrations, go to manage, configuration. We're going to go to integration databases. I create the connection here. Now let me just first delete the one that I have. I'm here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let me delete the one that I have here on settings. I think I got another one, my new connection. Let me delete that connection because I'm just going to recreate that there to better create this example. So I can do a common integration, database, create connection, my new connection, same thing, server name, localhost, boom, school. I'm gonna say my super secret password.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
I'm sorry.
Nothing. Never mind.
And then, all right, cool. So now I have this common integration one. Let's say for my creative repo one, I want to create a dependency on that. And so let me go to health, not health. I always forget where this one's at because they keep moving it every time.
You're not the only one.
I'm glad. Oh, there it is. It's in configuration. I liked it better when it was up on info, so I'm not sure why they changed it in later versions, but I don't know. So common integration, I'm going to create a dependency on that. So now I have a dependency on this. So now if I go back into my creative repo test, and let's say I go into a flow, right?
Okay.
I create, not a flow. Is it a flow? No, it's not.
Oh.
I want to create the query, and I wanted to see if I get that. Boom. See, I have my new connection. That's what I was trying to show. So when I create that dependency, I have that commonalities project, right? Just to kind of illustrate it,
Okay.
right? Common integration. The connection is made here, right? It's here. But because
Right.
I've set it as a dependency, I'm in my other project, I can use this new connection and then type whatever query I want that I can use in the process. I don't know what's in this table, but that's how that would work. Does that make sense?
Okay. Now, yeah, you just saved this query and that's saved in your project, but it's pointing back to that other connection from your,
Exactly. I've separated the query from the actual connection it's talking to.
okay. But you just, and you did that within the project itself. Can you close out of this window and see where did you actually initiate
Yeah.
that from?
And yeah, so
From
in your
okay.
yeah, it's
From
in the
there?
manage of the actual commonalities project that you have.
Okay.
All right. Where are you adding the child query?
I'm adding this in the other in the
All right.
target project, right?
Right. That's the question. Where did you do that?
Yeah.
Create
Yeah, let
data
me see
types and
that.
integrations.
Okay.
And then you'll have this database integration section, and then I can pick any type.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
And then I just pick add query.
That's where we got lost. Okay. So we have to go into, you're adding a new integration type.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. Add query.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because you don't have the database to select from in this project.
Correct.
Query.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. That makes sense. Got it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. So that'll work. All right, cool. I think that was only the first part of your question, right? Query results can carry connection because that's the one about the data, right?
Right.
Query names as the object name. If the connection type ever changes in the future, seems like that. Wait, hold on. I guess query results carry the connection. Okay.
All right.
Let me create one because then I'll probably know what you're talking about. Let me go back to my other one. Add a table. Oh wait, I gotta edit this one. I edit. I don't want it to be school. I want it to be something different. I want it to be catalog. What's the other catalog I want? Amusement park. That's what I want. Space amusement park. Save. And then all right, so that should set that one up. Now if I add a table, there we go. I got one. I just want to make sure I had a table that I can test this out with. All right, cool.
Mhm.
So we got the query. We're creating the query. So now I'm going to go ahead and actually do that. Like I said, I'm going to create the query, database integration, add the query, my new connection. And let's say I just
Mhm.
want select asterisk from dbo.park because that's what we have. That's what I
Okay.
have here. Cool.
All right.
Hey, just a nod to you guys. I have the Busch Gardens in Tampa. I don't know if you've been, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anywho, so this is the park one, and I'm gonna go ahead and save. Are you guys adding any parameters, or it's just the
Yeah,
fetching data?
sometimes, yeah, a lot of times we will have parameters, but yeah,
Okay,
we do.
yeah, you'll have a parameter. Let's see if I can get based on where. What do I have? Park name. Forgot all of it. Okay, it's just name. Where name equals at park name. And then let's say I have, let's see if I can spell this right, Busch Gardens. And I think I should get 2 results. Hey, I spelled it right. Cool. So now we know that it works. All right, I'm going to click OK, and then I'm just going to save this query. Oh, I did, silly me. Get by park name, custom queue. And we save this. All right, so now I'm going to create another flow. This is called the getting query data. And I'm going to fetch. Oh, no. So then the question here is if it changes in the future, that would cause a better way to manage resulting data. And so I think you're talking about this thing, right?
If the connection itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Because see,
So I
if
don't think it would.
and maybe it's the way we named our connections.
So
So
this is what happens whenever you create I can't talk. Create a query. Decisions will automatically create a defined data structure, which is not stored by default. And then whatever the name of the query is, that's going to be the structure type name. So in what I think would happen is, let's say I change this connection that you just mentioned, right? I edit this thing. And instead of it being, it's not what I want. Can I change the connection? Edit. I'm not sure you can't even edit the connection.
well, we would have to point the
So you could change,
query to a new connection, I guess.
right. So so it's an entirely new one.
Um, Marvin, I'm not quite sure what you're getting, because we have
Well,
all
I
that
guess
set
if
up.
for some reason today we're using PeopleSoft and tomorrow we end up using MySQL.
Right, we're going to create a new connection and have a new, because we have a truth table that has all those connections set up, and we have also
Right, but
values set up to point to those connections.
if you
So,
look at the end result of the query, it has the connection name as a part of it. And if that's been changed,
um,
So
the only
that
time
date
you need,
good.
no, I'm sorry, the only time you need that connection is when you actually run the query, and you're pointing to a variable, in our case, not the actual connection. Because we do have different stacks that we have to migrate up to, so that's the way we got around that. We're not pointing to an actual connection.
well, all right.
Mm.
I'll
And
take
also,
that question offline with James, and then if I
sure.
need to, I'll come back with it.
Yeah. Also, just to clarify too, there's also an option where you can override the connection
Yeah,
string,
And
and then the
that's what we
connection string is a
do
variable.
use.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we do, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because that's how you can handle that. And as long as the data you're pulling at is the same, like
Yep,
type, then
yep,
it
yep.
that's all I can do. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's how we handle that. So, yeah,
Got it.
we'll get together offline and
Cool. All
talk
right,
this
awesome.
through.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and hop on to Smitha. All right, Smitha. I'm gonna allow you to talk, and then I'll go through your 3 questions. We'll try to go to them rapid fire. Let's see. Smitha, hi. When creating a form, is there a way I can achieve dependent data display based on a selection in a dropdown? It was in a dropdown. The next text box should be populated. Yeah, absolutely. I can even create that real quick for you. That's just a simple active form flow process. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna create a small form for that. Show form. We're gonna connect this. We're gonna create a new form, and this will be form for Smitha. And then I'm just gonna create a very simple drop down. This is gonna have, let's see, we'll get this from, this will be static. So we'll say this is data 1, data 2, and data 3, right? And then I'll even build that example you just suggested. So I have a text box, and this will be a put data here, right? And I'll call it the put data here text box, and I'll add a button because that's why it's kind of frustrated at me. And then what I can do is I could say, okay, let's add an active form flow. And I'm gonna say this is put data in text box on selection. And so I'm gonna say on the combo box, which is the drop down list, I'm gonna check the selection. So basically if I select data 1, it will put data 1 in the text box. If I select data 2, it puts data 2 in the text box. Cool. So now I'm gonna create this flow. All I'm gonna do is I can just say, I'm just gonna hit a create data step. Boom, and I'm gonna say this is the value that I'm gonna put in, and it's a string. Connect this here, connect this here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select from flow. We're gonna go ahead and grab form data. I'm gonna grab the combo box. I'm gonna grab the selected. So now I have the selected item here, and then I'm gonna tell this variable on the create data step. I'm gonna click on the outputs so that it changes the value of that text box. So then I'm gonna go to on the output mapping, expand the form data. Then we're gonna go into the put data here text box, and I'm gonna do a change value on it, right? So change value, and it's gonna pass into the value of that data text box that I have here. Cool. So then I'm gonna save this, close, okay. And then now for this part, if I debug this process, I don't need to connect it up. You'll see that if I select data, boom, data 1's over there. If I select data 2, boom, data 2's over there. If I select data 3, boom, data 3's over there. And you can see the different flows execute based on my selection change over here. So any additional questions over that first one?
No, thank you. So if I just pick up the data from the database, I should be able to do it in a similar form, a similar way. Like this data 3 can be something, another field based on the query and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you could definitely do it that
Sure.
way as well. 100%.
Sure. Thank you. This
My
helps.
pleasure. Awesome. And then the second question you had was, how can I design the form so the text boxes are easily aligned? Ooh, yeah. This one is a little tricky because that goes into like form design specific. So let's kind of talk a little bit about that. So if you want like an alignment to align things perfectly, or not perfectly, but there's a couple of settings you can configure to help with that. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a lot of like, you make a change, look at the form, make another change, look at the form to make sure you get the value that you're looking for or the layout you're looking for. But there's a couple of settings you can change. So for example, one of the things that we do here is sometimes we'll put another grid layout inside of a grid. So I can then just change the layout of this grid without affecting any other controls there. So that's one thing we do here. And then if we go, let me add a little bit more columns here for this process so I can just easily illustrate it. And then let's remove that. All right, cool. I got some columns, and so let's say I put this text box here. Some things I can do here is, let's say I have two text boxes, right? Now these are very large. I'm just gonna copy this one and paste that there. Copy and then paste, and then, oh, I don't want the whole. I just want the control, not another grid. Right, and so that's one way you can do some alignment. Another thing you can do is on the grid settings itself, right? So if I go ahead and right click, select the parent grid, there is margins that I can do for the left and also the right to kind of organize. As you can see, there's some more white space there on the actual grid itself that I can utilize to kind of get the look that I'm wanting. Let's make it more contrast so you can see it. So you can mess around with this. There's also a column gap and a row gap between the different kind of columns here. And so what I can do is I can mess around with the gutters, and I could say I want the column gap to be a little more, or let's do the row gap. I want the row gap in between these two text boxes to be different. So let's say I want it a little wider, and then boom, I can separate those to kind of get more of the design that I'm looking for. So that's kind of like the best way to do that. If you're talking about like aligning a label with a text box, what you could do is you can create a grid. Let's see, a grid, and then I can just add, let me grab another text box. I can grab a text box here, place it, come on, place it. And then I can just grab a label, right? And then I can utilize the kind of orientation of the alignments to kind of connect to that particular control. And then I can, move that, not that one. Then I can try to move. It's a little tricky, but you can move all of the things as a unit. When you have, let's see, let me make the margin a little bigger on the left. And then we can move
Word
the entire
Explorer
grid
comes
layout.
in handy.
Yep. But then see, since I moved the margin over, I can now move those things as a unit instead of just kind of individual things. So that's where it kind of helps. Got to do that. So any questions over that?
No, this is helpful. Yeah, we kind of doing this, so I wanted to know if there was anything else that we are missing, but this is helpful. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Thank you.
And then third question, did not get how I can create a dashboard in version 9 and share the URL with users. We do have pages in our project. Okay, cool. Yes, it is a little tricky. I shall show you. Not really a little tricky. It's just a different paradigm that just takes a little bit of getting used to. But let's say I create this super cool dashboard, right? I'm going to say create pages, and this will be a page, and I'll call this create super cool Smitha dashboard, exclamation point. I will leave the exclamation point out, right? And let's say I just want to, I'm going to make this very cheap, very, very simplistic. This is going to be like, hello, Smitha, and it's going to be a giant dashboard. Let's see, can I make the font large? We're going to make the font 36, bold, italic, underlined. And then can I make it? That's weird. Anyway, so let's click on this view. We're going to make it centered so that it's all over it. All right, cool. So this is my dashboard. Very simple. So now what I'll do is I'll create a, in my public folders, I'll create a, another folder, and I'll call this the Smitha dashboard. Create. And then I will go ahead and add that page here. Add page, and we'll go to the Smitha dashboard. And you shall see here, I have this cool Smitha dashboard. Boom. All right. So now to the question, because that was all pre-set up. How do we share the URL? So when you right click, there's a couple things you have to make sure of. You have to make sure you have permissioning set on this dashboard where you've configured a particular user to have access to this particular dashboard. The reason why is because whenever we create this, where is it? Integration details. Come on, I know we have it. Open, permission, dependencies. Where is it? It's gone. Oh, there we go. View integration details. There will be this, right, I just have login and guest. Typically what you'll do is we'll use a name session. So you can configure, I think you can do this on the project level. I could be wrong. I go to security. Yep, you can create name sessions on the project level. And so what you want to do that is you want to, create a name session if you're utilizing accounts within decisions. Now there is another way where you can utilize a guest account, meaning that a user who you don't want to create an account for, you just want people to click on a URL and then boom, go to it. You can do that as well. One of the things you have to do for that is we'll have to go to this dashboard. See, manage permissions. We'll do accounts. Actually, probably just say you could do. Let's do. I think you have to do it by the account level or the group level. Excuse me. So let's say just can use, can view, and then we're going to pick the all users group. Boom. All right, cool. And then I shall save these permissions. And then I think my account, the guest account, is disabled. Yeah. By default, the guest account is disabled. So in order to get your URL to work, so what would happen here is let me show you. If I did this, what would happen is this thing right here is the that more, there we go. Integration detail. If I have this guest and then I open the URL, perfect. And then let me do it on another thing that doesn't have access to it. It will just prompt a login screen for it, right? So what we have to do is we have to go ahead and enable that. So this is what it will look like. I have to go to here, go to security and accounts, go to the account. Let me enable it. Let's see, can I edit it? And then I think it's is active. And then I believe there might be something else that we have to do. I always forget this one. But let's go back to here. We're going to go to
It used to be on the
training.
portal settings. You had to go and enable guest account
Yeah,
usage.
that's what I'm trying to think. I think that's still the case. I just want to test it out. So if I go to more, view integration details, and then I go to guest, and I copy this URL, and then I grab my my personal account. All right, still long. I think that's the setting that I need to change, like James said. So if I go back here, we go to settings, the overall
I
settings.
think it's in settings
Yep, in settings.
and
I
then
think.
portal. I think
Oh
it's still on the
yeah,
portal.
I believe you are correct. And then I think it's what you type guest, right? Yep, enable
Yep,
guest
there it
account.
is.
So now let's see if I save this. And I believe the guest account is part of the all users. It is. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. It's part of the all users group. Now let's try this URL. All right. I thought I had another browser there. I shall pull it here. We go ahead and paste. Go to here. And I don't have permissions. Okay, so we're one step closer. I just need to be able to say, guess you have permissions to use the portal. So I just need to say, okay, I need to give them portal permissions, meaning that for the guest user, if I go to,
I
let's
think it's
see.
under their account. I think it's one of the settings you can enable.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think, yes, you are correct. Edit, and then can use portal. So that allows them to view the portal perspective. And then, cross fingers, I believe we're good now, but I'm not sure. We'll go to more, unit creation details. I shall go to guest. And then, now let's try it. And I put this in here. And boom, there's this method dashboard. So you have to enable like those three things, and then users can utilize that. You'll just need to be very careful because, right, since the guest account doesn't need a login, you want to make sure that you severely constrain whatever dashboard that the guest user has, that it's only tied to the guest user. Meaning that what I would actually advise doing is create another group, call it like guest only access, and then add the guest account to that group, and then only share with dashboards that you're okay with being public. Have can use, can open, can view permissions just on that, because you want to very much highly restrict this guest account access, because then anyone can just click on this URL and see the dashboard. So you just have to make sure that you are aware of your restrictive user permissioning for that account.
Sure. Thank you. This is very helpful. But if I give it as login, only the people who have access will be able to do it, right?
They will first have to log in first.
Okay. Yeah, I think that should be okay. That's how we would want them to be attached to a group on things like that. Log in and then use it.
Okay, cool. Yep,
Yeah.
then that's how that would work then.
Sure. Perfect. This
Cool.
is very helpful. Thank you.
Awesome, my pleasure. All right, let me go ahead. I just want to change. I'm going to deactivate guest account is active. And revert back. All right. So that was that one. We're going right on along. All right. The next one we have is Alexander. All right, Alexander asked, hello, I have a form that accepts files. I want to show all attached items in my form at the bottom, if that is possible. It's loud here, so I can't mic up this time. No worries. All right, I'll try to interpret what you mean by this question. If I'm off, just let me know. Here's how I'm understanding it. We have a couple of I don't want to go here. We have a couple of form file controls that you can utilize. Let me go ahead and create this another form. So I'll say this is the never use simple forms. Alexander's form. Right, and so then what we'll do is, I think there is, so I have a form that accepts files. I want to show all attached items in my form at the bottom. So files, file upload. So if we have a file, multiple file upload area, we can upload, and we'll say this is files, and we'll make this max file a little bit bigger, 4096 kilobytes, and then we shall, let's go ahead and make it here. I'm gonna put my button over here. And so my question to you, Alexander, so basically what you're saying, what you would like is if I go to my flow one, that's not what I wanted. If I go to test data, perfect. I'm gonna delete this form. We're gonna create another form, show form, pick existing, Alexander's form. What you're saying you want is if you debug this, right? And right, you want to be able to see those two things. You want to see that on the bottom. Is that what you're saying? Like you want to move the location of where those things appear to somewhere else? Because this is what comes preset in the control. You could do like some active form flow to move it to display it in other locations. Like it's a little, like for example, I can take edit here. Let's say I want like comma separated all the files or something on the bottom so you can see oh well I have a main form then an upload form.
So that data is probably stored in the data set somewhere, and he's just wanting to bring it in and display it on another form.
Oh, so, okay, I see. So you have like a data structure or something that you're storing it in and then pulling it from somewhere. So if that's the case, then yes.
Which you could just create a list box, couldn't you, or something like that? And
Yep, you can, exactly. You can do that as well. So let's say I have this. This is my upload form. I want it to appear on my main form as an attachment. Oh, as an attachment. I got you. Yeah, we can do that, man. It's pretty easy. So let's say I've already done this. I'm trying to think of what would be a cool way to do this. You can, that's not what I want. Go to test data, we have your form, and then on my next form where I get this from, and we'll say that this is Alexander's second form. Whoops, second form. And then we could display, so if you have a document viewer on the right and you want to kind of show what's inside of this, come on. And we'll say this is file. Notice that by default, the document viewer is a document type. If you want to display the different files, you just need to set it to file data or whatever data type that you have. Cool. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a drop-down list. There's probably some cooler, more like neat designs you could probably do on this. But for sake of simplicity, I'm going to say this is file data. Put that here. We'll display obviously file name will be the thing we want, and then the data source will be files. And then what we'll do is I'll create an active form flow that says, based on the selected file, we're going to populate it inside of that document viewer. And so you can easily see the different documents. So if I click on this, I'll go to active form flow, and this is going to be update display selected document right here. Selection change. We'll also run it at startup if there's a selected. Actually, I will uncheck that because I don't think we'll have a selection at startup. Edit it, and then what I will do is all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, this is the create data. Boom. I'm going to make this my file value. And I'm going to make this file data. And then what I'll do is I'm going to connect this up and say select from flow. We're going to grab the form data combo box, the selected files. And then we're going to edit the output data. And then I'm going to find the document viewer. And then I'm going to change value on that value of that document viewer that I have here. So once I click OK, very simple, one step needed. I'm going to save, close this, click OK. I'm going to save this thing. And now what we should have is if I upload those three things, right? And let's say I got my, we'll do this, we'll do this, and then we got, let's see, then we have, we're just gonna throw another file here, boom. And so then if you actually want to see what the contents of this is, I can select this, boom. Then you can see the contents therein. I can select another one and put this one in here. And then I can select this one and put this one in here. So you can display all of that kind of content based on a drop-down selection there. Or another cool way, this is a fun one, is you can also do like a radio button list. Radio, I think you could do it that way. You might not be able to. I don't think you can.
It has to be dynamic.
Oh, you could. You could. I think you could.
Cool. That's neat.
On the bottom. Yeah, I mean, yes, so you could do it on the bottom too. So if I set this one to file data, and I think I could set this as a display fields in my file name. Oh, so you could do this. This is gonna be cool. So then instead of having this guy, I can have the files displayed here as requested. So I have my files. And then what I can do is let me make sure that this view is set to is horizontal. So we'll see them horizontally. And then I just got to update my active form flow because that's broken because I deleted the control. So this is going to change on selection change of the radio button list. And then I edit this back to form data, back to radio button list. We're going to go to selected files, done. And then that one's going to update the document viewer. And then so if, yeah, this is a cool one. And so if I debug this, we shall add, all right, let me move this, get some of my documents here so I can easily see this. So let's say I want to display, let's see, I'm going to display this, I'm going to display this, I'm going to display this, right? And then if I go to the button, and then I can select on the different radio button list, and I can easily see what the content of that is. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't think you could do that with the radio button list, but
So,
so yeah. Did that help answer your question, Alexander? All right, I don't see, oh wait. Kind of, they don't need to see the file name. Oh, you just want to just like file 1, file 2 or something like that? They don't need to have the name of it? Oh, just the name. Oh, I got you. So none of the document viewer stuff is necessary. Cool, cool. Yeah, you can do that here. It's just the file name property. So let me kind of show you where that's at. So as I edit this radio button list, whenever you select the composite type, it will always, especially for files, it will always ask you what you want the display name to be. Contents is just a list of bytes. You're not going to get a lot of information from this. File type, may be helpful. It'll tell you if it's Excel, Word, PDF, any of that stuff. And then length, I think it's just like the character length inside the document, if I believe. ID, if the file has an ID. So long story short, if you select the file name, you can see that displayed on the bottom there if there are files. Let me go ahead and answer. Put all that stuff there. We didn't need a preview. Yeah, then you can just delete this. So I can delete this control here, and then it will go away. They don't need the view of that. Alrighty. Any other questions that we may have?
Did you receive my email today, Jared? I did send in a free thing, but we can get to that tomorrow, I guess.
We got time. We got time. We got 15
Yeah.
minutes. I thought wasn't your pre-sub about, I could have missed it. Was your pre-sub about something with a database?
No, that was Marvin's.
Okay, then I wonder if it just got lumped in with that one. Let me see.
It was, I sent mine real early this morning. I don't know if it got lost somewhere. In fact, I got an email asking if it was a training question. I said no, it's just typically for.
Oh, really? Yeah, then it probably got lost in the shuffle. Let me know, what is it?
The question is, it's about, we want to know if there's a way to dynamically run a query in a flow. In other words, a user has let's say we've got a pre-selected, these are the query names you can run, and they can select one in the flow, chooses that query name and runs it. I don't know if there's a way to do that, or if you have to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So so basically your question is an extension of Marvin's question. It's like if I have 5 of those queries, right?
5 queries sitting out there, and they're 2 external databases, but we've made the queries for them, and we give them like a drop-down list. They can select which one they want to run, and
Okay.
it goes in and it dynamically runs that query for them.
I see. And dynamic runs that query. So, I'm thinking.
Yeah, like you can run a flow based on a flow ID, something similar to that. I looked at, run define query and all that, and I couldn't find how you would do that.
Yeah, you're talking about, I think run defined. This is the one you were.
Yeah, and that one doesn't even give you output, and that only allows you to run locally defined queries. It doesn't allow you to run any queries that were defined in an external database.
Yeah. I know this one would, because then you could dynamically set. Can you not do the connection? Return data, result variable. I thought there was one that allowed you to override the connection.
Yeah, if you actually run the query that you created, it creates specific steps for that query to run, create, delete, all that stuff. But you have to select those specific ones from your.
Yeah. Oh, there it is, connection string.
Does it allow you for inputs too? Like if you have parameters on that query?
You want to put parameters on that query.
Yeah. Like in a flow, if you're going to run a flow and it needs inputs, there's a way to set up those inputs. But I don't know if there's a way to do something similar with a query. So you have parameters.
I'm thinking there's a couple ways I can think about doing this. Let's first find. Okay, let me answer this question. I need to find out. Let's see if I edit this query, it comes with this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
curious
that
what
would be a
this
good one to
stores.
test with right there. If you could dynamically run that, like
Exactly.
just put it
Without
in a
pulling in the
text box
step.
and then run it somehow without
Exactly.
knowing what that text box said.
Get database query definition ID. Hmm. Well, I'm thinking. Let me pull up. Do I have another one? Yeah. I'm just gonna close that window. Create another one. So I can look at this one because what I want to do first is I want to see if I can find where that stuff's stored. Like I know it's stored to here, and I wonder if it's just an element registration. Okay, so this one's gonna be in the flow where I have this. And then let me fetch entities. Let's try to work through this. I think we can. And then let's say I want this to be element registration. And I want to fetch it based on the component ID, component registration ID. That one, well, I don't think that's not going to work. Because that would only mean the elements like flows. Well, I mean, let's just get by the ID. If it doesn't exist, it'll just return null. So that would be the definitive test on that we just need to find where that thing is kind of stored. Debug. Boom. Okay, so it's not in the element registration table. So then here's a cool thing we can do. If I go here, I can go ahead and edit this report, and I want to know what the type is. The short type of this thing is it's a database query definition. So I presume that's what it's grouped by. Yeah, it's not visible. Okay, so it's a database query definition. Okay, so let's fetch entities of all database query definitions. Oh, that's right, I gotta open here. Database query. Database query definition, boom, there we go, boom. Okay, so now we got the type, so we're cooking with it. And I wanna get it by the ID of this thing. Okay, here we go. Hey, here's the stuff. And then I believe it's, look at that. Cool. All right. So I
That's the
think we
actual query,
can.
okay.
Well, yeah. That's so. Let's fetch it, and we can see what the data we have out of it is. And it is, darn it, I saw it. It's like definition ID. That's what I want, because I want to grab the one that just we have here, and this one should return one result. We do have a result, and let's look at the output together. So let's full screen this. So we have, look, there's the query, boom, right there.
Right.
So it has
right.
the variable. There's the name value. Okay, so we got all that information. The entity name of it, cool. So you can do something where you filter by the entity name of it. Let's see, default value. I think the only part is, so that houses the query of it. The only thing is it's not going to return. I'm not sure how we would. I'm not sure how we would change that variable to a value at that
Right.
point. That's
Right.
the only
Does
thing.
it have something to do with that data, that O data set it sets up with the parameters in it? Or with the fields? No, it doesn't. That's the field names. Yeah, I don't know how it knows what parameters to accept.
Yeah, by that keys field is where it has that, but I don't think it would have. Let's see, like data type, protection string, select. Like if I do this and we grab here, let me go to the first one, and let me grab the query. Query, cool. And then actually, nope. I was trying to see if there's a way I can update that key to make it do something. Because I have this. I know there's the keys. Key. So I know I have this query definition, all name. I can grab the first one.
So that would be a list of keys, like a list of parameters right there. Is that what that is?
Yeah, exactly. It'll give you a list of
Okay.
parameters. So is there a way in flight I can change it? I'm trying to see, because I'd have to say the name, but then you'd be changing the variable.
I wonder if I could just create if I can grab the query itself
Mm-hmm.
and then append the where clause in a string manipulation and then run the SQL.
Yep,
Could
you
that be
could do
done?
that. Yep, you could do that. So if I like make mine right here,
Like just make the query very generic and
exactly, yeah. I
just
run it.
append your where clause, build your where clause basically in your flow.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that I know for a fact will work. Well, let
That
me not
might
say
be
for a fact.
a way
Let's
we could.
test it. Because then what I could say is like, let's say I create a form, right? I don't know if this is your use case, but I'm going to create a form. And it's going to say pick park to go to, right? And
Mhm.
then my drop down list is static string. And it is, come on, static. And then I have Busch Gardens. I forgot the other one. I think it was King's Dominion, I think. Dominion. Oh, wait, I have it up here. Let me find out. So we can actually see this. New query. Select asterisk from dbo.park. Just without the apostrophe. King's Dominion and then Cedar Point. All right, let's say it's these. And then I go to button. We go through here. And don't save that. So then I save. And then what we can do is we'll save this. I'm just gonna do data rows just for generic. And then I don't think I need custom connection. I'm gonna say use external connection, external database. I'm just gonna pick that one. Projects, common integration, haha, yeah, databases. My new connection. And let's say, yeah, now I changed it. So now what I can do is I can say, all right, let's use a merge string, merge plain text. And I'm going to say, let's grab the first, and we'll say query, query. And then we'll say where, what is it, name equals, and then I'll have the selected out of the form if I actually put it there. I don't think I did. Selected inputs. It's not outputting anything. That's why. Let's see. Selected park. And then, okay, good. Now I should be able to merge plain text on that. There we go. Where it equals, and I think I probably have to do quotes, right? Selected park. And so now we can see if that actually returns data. So select, save, debug. I want to go to Cedar Point. We get done. Look at the output. Boom, it got it.
Wow. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you
That's
can
cool.
do that.
I can work with that.
Okay, cool.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
My pleasure. That was a good question. I didn't think about looking at the database definition or seeing how it's stored. That's kind of what I do. If there's something I don't know, usually what I'll do, this report is just a decisions report. And
Yeah,
typically whenever we need to get something that we're like, I want this thing, but I don't know what
right.
this thing's called, you
Yeah.
can easily just edit this report
Uh-huh.
and then take a look at the type name. It's invisible by default, but that's what let me realize, oh, okay, I can fetch entities on this, and that's the type I need to look for, and then it gets out. So it kind of helps. So if I wanted to get a look at all my data structures I have, I could fetch entities on defined data structures and see that, oh, I have this one. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
That's helpful too. Yeah, because I do a lot of fishing around in the query editor just to
Yep.
figure out what table's got what on it, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that was
Cool.
the fastest way in my opinion, because it tells you the table. Because this reports over the entity data source. So it will just show every single type of entity and decisions, and you'll just need to make sure you show the short type or the long type name depending on what what's the thing you're dealing with, and then it will show you like the namespace of the table of where it's located.
Okay. Really cool. Okay. Sweet.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, I think that just about ends it, right? I think it's a good stopping point. 12:58. Thank you so much for your guys' kind attention and the questions. They're wonderful. We'll work on getting the video uploaded so that you can watch that as you're at your leisure. Tomorrow, Gregory Goldston will be hosting the Lunch and Learn, so attend tomorrow for that. And in the meantime, just keep a lookout for that uploaded recording for today. And I'll see you guys next time.